Ice Cube went from being a celebrated founding member of NWA to a social activist to what many would describe as a sellout. Today, we're going to dive deep into some of his most controversial moments. For those of you who can't stand our videos, so chickadee, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Come on and check yourself before you riggedy wreck yourself. But for the rest of y'all who love and support us unconditionally, don't forget to scoop up something to munch on at rrgsnacks.com, our online concession stand that has an assortment of Applewood smoked bacon jerky, freeze-dried goodies, and butter toffee peanuts. His 1991 album Death Certificate includes a 47-second track called Black Korea. In the lyrics, Ice Cube goes off on Asian store owners who treat black men unfairly. He also threatens to burn Asian-owned stores down if they don't pay respect to the Black Fist. From there, the Korean American Grocers Association, who represented thousands of Southern California stores, decided to boycott St. Ides, a popular malt liquor that Ice Cube and other black rappers were the spokespeople for. They also asked the brand to remove Ice Cube from its ads. St. Ides refused, and well, the stores pulled the malt liquor from the shelves. With no other options, St. Ides agreed to the association's demands. Ice Cube felt he had good reason to support the lyrics of Black Korea. He was inspired to write the song after the tragic events that occurred on March 16, 1991. A black 15-year-old South Central Los Angeles resident named Latasha Harlins was at a convenience store owned by 49-year-old Korean-American Soon Ja-doo. Latasha picked up a $1.79 bottle of juice and put it in her bag. Then she headed to the cash register with $2 in her hand to pay for the item. Soon accused Latasha of stealing.
She had the money in her hand. You could see the money in the videotape. And the suspect grabbed the backpack, and there became a physical altercation over the backpack.
Latasha headed for the door to leave the establishment. That's when Soon fired one shot into the back of Latasha's head, ending her life. Police later confirmed that Latasha wasn't shoplifting. A jury found Soon guilty of voluntary manslaughter, and the judge sentenced her to 10 years in prison. However, the sentence was suspended, and Soon was placed on probation, was ordered to pay $500 in restitution, and had to perform 400 hours of community service. She was required to reimburse Latasha's family for any out-of-pocket medical expenses and expenses related to Latasha's funeral.
Black people once again being unjustly treated by this. Stay on the street. Get his camera on my face.
So the response to Ice Cube being dropped by St. Ides was divided. On one side, people thought the brand did the right thing since the lyrics of Black Korea called for violence against Asians. Others thought his words were a justified response to Latasha's murder.
Auntie Regina just wants to insert something for y'all to think about. Have y'all ever seen these Korean-owned stores in close proximity to white neighborhoods or predominantly white neighborhoods or wealthier neighborhoods? Y'all just pause and think about that for a minute, okay? You want to be the only one that sells us hair products and sells us hair, but you won't let us open a business and sell it. You lock us out of the business. You want our money, but you don't want our presence. Got a problem with that. I'm going to take a risk and say every black person under the sound of my voice has been followed around the store in one of these establishments. If you don't like black people or you think we're all thieves, don't bring your business to our neighborhood.
Ice Cube eventually threw in the towel. He apologized, met with the president of the Korean American Grocers Association, and worked diligently to open a dialogue between black people and Koreans. He eventually won back his endorsement deal and agreed to donate money to charity. He went on to appear on the cover of Korea Times magazine with the headline, Ice Cube the Peacemaker. His Day One fans weren't impressed. They called him a sellout for giving in to the demands of the Korean Association, and they accused him of turning his back on his own community so that he could keep his endorsement checks. On his 1991 song No Vaseline, Ice Cube rapped, "I never have dinner with the president," which was his way of throwing shade at his former NWA group member EAZY-E for going to a dinner at the White House during George H.W. Bush's administration. By 2020, Ice Cube must have forgotten his stance on having dinner with the president, because he traveled to Washington to meet with then-President Donald Trump's campaign team to promote his contract with Black America. Ice Cube's contract was a plan to help lift African Americans economically, which was perfect since Trump had been trying to attract more black voters. Following the meeting, Trump's senior advisor, Katrina Pearson, tweeted about Ice Cube's willingness to step up and work with their administration. Once online users realized that the rapper had been meeting with Republicans, they called him a sellout and a pawn in Trump's political game.
Ice Cube, Chrisette Michele, and Steve Harvey all need to sit their asses down somewhere. And throw Amber ass in there too, hell.
Ice Cube didn't hesitate to defend himself. He told Rolling Stone magazine he never went to the White House. He simply went to Washington and met with Trump's team, but he never met Trump. He said the meeting was a success because Trump's administration implemented some of the things in his contract with Black America into the administration's Platinum Plan. Ice Cube said he also had a Zoom call with Joe Biden's team. However, Biden's team didn't blast the information to the media like Trump's team did, so no one knew about it.
Both campaigns contacted me. One campaign said, "We love what you have, but let's really dig into it after the election." And one campaign said, "We love what you have. Do you mind talking to us about it?"
He also said he had good intentions and was just trying to implement his plan into whichever administration would win the upcoming election. Black people were not trying to hear it, and they proceeded to once again call him a sellout and an Uncle Tom. He hopped on Twitter and said he had been called a sellout his entire life, and it didn't bother him because he knew who he was.
Well, if they've been calling you that your whole life, maybe it's time you start, you know what? Let me mind my business. Everybody ain't wrong, Cube. Everybody ain't wrong.
In 2018, Kendrick Lamar kicked a white female fan off stage for repeatedly reciting the N-word in one of his songs. As the footage made the rounds online, Ice Cube appeared on a program called The Project and had an interesting take. Ice Cube said, "Don't invite people on your stage if you don't want them singing your songs. I think it could have been avoided if the fans stay in their seat. The artist, you stay on the stage and do your job. We didn't pay to see nobody else sing anyway."
Is he wrong? No. But he also ain't right.
Unsurprisingly, people accused Ice Cube of deflecting and not holding the concert goer responsible for her actions.
Exactly.
In December 2021, Faison Love told Comedy Hype he was only paid $2,500 for his role as Big Worm in the 1995 film Friday. John Witherspoon, who played the character Willie Jones, received $5,000, and Chris Tucker, who played the character Smokey, was only paid $10,000. The movie went on to earn nearly $300 million.
Yeah.
Ice Cube played a significant role in the film's production and even co-wrote the script, so naturally people blamed him for underpaying the actors. An online user tweeted, "Yo, it's wild how Ice Cube acts like he's for the people and has been robbing his own people. Pay them people." Ice Cube heard the uproar and headed to Twitter to write, "I don't rob no f***body. The 1995 Friday movie cost $2.3 million to make. Shot it in 20 days. Faison worked 1 day, maybe 2. All the actors got paid scale to do the movie. They could have simply said no, but they didn't. So miss me with that shit."
Oh, they hit a nerve, didn't they, Cube? He angry little man, ain't he?
And then AJ Johnson, who played the character Ezel, appeared on Vlad TV and said when it was time to film next Friday, Ice Cube reached out to ask him if he'd like to reprise his role. They came to an agreement and shook hands to seal the deal. A few weeks later, AJ got a phone call from someone who told him that they had already started filming next Friday. AJ drove to the shooting location and tried to get on the set to talk to Ice Cube, but AJ found out Ice Cube had barred him from the set.
Oh, hell no.
All of this information about how Ice Cube treated the cast has left many people perplexed. Since Ice Cube is so big on his political activism on behalf of Black people, many couldn't understand why he would treat his Black co-stars that way. One person online said it best, "When it comes to Ice Cube, he's all about the money." During a July 2024 conversation with the PBD podcast, Ice Cube was asked to share his thoughts about Diddy's scandals. Ice Cube said Diddy was cool to work with, and he never had any bad interactions with him. When pressed about the accusations that have been brought against Diddy in the past few months, Ice Cube said he hadn't really had contact with Diddy since 1994, but he wasn't surprised by the allegations because the hip-hop world is like the Wild West. He then added,
I believe he's being targeted. Somebody, has the power to pull the trigger to make, this stuff, this domino effect happen.
He also admitted he didn't know much about all the ugly accusations against Diddy and called it all speculation. Now, keep in mind this conversation with PBD Podcast was posted on July 15th, 2024, 2 months after CNN released the bombshell footage of Diddy assaulting Cassie in a hotel.
That's what I'm saying, like... Nigga, you didn't see the same news we saw.
One thing about Ice Cube is that he'll always find a way to stick his Chuck Taylors right in his mouth. But the real question is all the hate against him justified, or is he just misunderstood?